With noise exposure, the louder the sound, the less time that we have that we can safely be in that environment. If we think about carpentry, construction, farmers in the Midwest, a lot of the equipment is really loud. So it's important that we're thinking about how we can protect ourselves and our workers. One cause of hearing loss in the workplace is chemicals. These can be ototoxic, meaning damaging to our auditory system. Some industries with known ototoxic chemicals, manufacturing of batteries, paints, solvents, those are all known to cause potential harm. When we have a hearing loss, we have hair cells in our ears, and that is damaged. Once there's damage, we can't bring them back. There's no one way to know this is going to be temporary or this will be permanent.
There are many ways to reduce hazards in the workplace, but some are far more effective than others. The hierarchy of controls is a framework made up of 5 categories: elimination, substitution, engineering controls, administrative controls, and personal protective equipment, PPE, all ranked from most to least effective.
Elimination would be ideal, but it's the hardest. Elimination might be removing that system from the building where the workers are. Can we take it out and have it isolated? Another option would be, can it be automated? Is this something that we can have a robot do instead of a person? Those are the biggest ways to eliminate the noise. For substitution, are there different chemicals we can use that might be less ototoxic, again, damaging to that ear? Is there a quieter machine available to use? Maybe there's an older machinery that can be updated to new machinery that has quieter noise ratings. If we're thinking about engineering controls, we can implement sound panels. So those sound panels actually can absorb some of that energy rather than creating an echo. We could also look at, is there vibration dampening, different systems to put into play that can help improve the sound mitigation? Is there a type of ceiling tile that can help absorb the sound, or carpet? Can we isolate the generator or the noise-causing machine to put walls around it, create a barrier between the noise and where everyone is working? We can use a lubrication. We can make sure there's regular maintenance on the machines to make sure that they're functioning properly and there's not anything extra making noises that shouldn't be.
To protect workers from hearing loss, workplaces must provide trainings to employees, have procedures to prevent injury and for when incidents occur, monitor noise levels in the workplace, and are encouraged to post signage in the workplace. These policies and procedures make up administrative controls.
A policy to protect hearing loss is going to include training on hearing loss prevention and how to use hearing protection. If we're thinking about hearing loss prevention programs, some are required by OSHA. It includes regular monitoring hearing for the employees once a year. If there's a way to rotate the employees, are some parts of the plant louder than others? Can they rotate through so they're not always exposed to that loud sound? These prevention programs include how to protect your hearing, understanding how to use hearing protection. We have research to support that workers being trained on the proper use of hearing protection and why it matters improves outcomes. By just learning how to insert that yellow foam plug, we can increase attenuation, or how much that earplug is reducing the sound, by up to 15 dB. And in our world, that's a lot. When we're thinking about the training programs, it's important for employees to also see their leadership using that hearing protection, practicing those best practices, but it's that community culture and built around a healthy hearing workplace. Basic implementations employers can do for PPE are hearing protection. So whether it's earplugs or ear muffs, the best kind of protection is the one that the employees are going to wear, and then that they're trained on proper use. Hearing protection have a noise reduction rating, an NRR. It can't guarantee that amount. In general, the bigger the number, the more it's going to reduce, but you need to use it properly to reach that better reduction level.
For ototoxic chemicals, essential PPE includes respirators, chemical-resistant gloves, goggles, face shields, long-sleeve clothing, and hearing protection. There are many things workplaces can do to prevent hearing loss in the workplace, and the higher up the hierarchy those prevention measures are,
the more effective they will be at protecting employees. There are a lot of good free resources out there for employers. OSHA, NIOSH, even companies that make their own hearing protection, 3M, Honeywell, might have some kits available so you're not building from scratch. Reaching out to your local audiologist too, see how they can partner with you to reach those healthy hearing workplace goals. Noise-induced hearing loss and chemical-induced hearing loss are preventable. As employers, if we can help implement strategies for these employees both in the workplace and outside, their long-term effects are going to be much better down the road.